One of the things that I think about when we're talking with customers and sort of out and learning about, what teams are working on is sort of some teams that are kind of struggling with, do we just follow best practices for this particular experience? Like, there's a library of things that are like, this is how you design a checkout flow, right? And like, you probably shouldn't veer off of that because people are so used to it. But is there an opportunity to innovate and maybe make it better or different? And so I guess my question is, how should teams think about that? How should they think about, when is it okay to stick with best practices and standards versus when should we think about opportunities to do things differently?
Yeah, it's a bad question to ask a cowboy, or like, I am probably the worst person and probably a little extreme end when it comes to disruptive innovation and behavior. Look, I see innovation as truly a factor of the number of attempts and tries you can have, and of technology that is just now possible. In principle, I argue that no one needs permission to innovate. You don't need permission to think about new problems to solve, new ways to solve existing problems, new markets, new customers, new opportunities, new ways to add value. It is unfortunate that process, structure, role definitions, and management just tend to stifle innovation in many organizations because, you get people that will tell me, well, I am not on the innovation team. I said, it's an innovation team? Yes. I'm like, so does that mean everybody that is not on it is on the non-innovation team? Or I'm not on the growth team? Or I'm not a product manager? In some ways, it's not my job to innovate. Look, I was just in an airport in another country, and I was going through security, and the security people had created this amazing, they put this little like kids balloon comb over the security dome, and they played music as people passed through it. And I'm like, turned to the people like, wow, why, who asked you all to do this? Like, did you? He's like, no, nobody did. We just kept seeing people walking through security feeling very nervous and uneasy. And it's our job to make people feel safe, not our job to make people feel insecure about going to the airport. And so we just figured we would try something to put people at ease while they are going through this experience. And, now I was super impressed that they were at an environment where they felt empowered to try something safely in there. But more importantly, that they did not feel they needed permission to see a problem or to figure out some process or check mark or stuff like this. Now, did it get people through security in the same way? Was it safe and secure? Like, the machine is still the same. They just put nice balloons and stuff around it. It did not diminish the quality of the technology. It just improved the experience of going through it. And so, I believe some, companies need to scale, they need structure and stuff so that they can ensure that there's consistency and quality in here. But for me, more importantly, it's mindset. I like to equip teams with very many techniques. I tell them, I cannot teach you a process because the second you're working on something different and you'll be like, it doesn't fit and it doesn't work. Or tooling, or unfortunately, I meet people who's like, you're trying to teach a technique and they focus on the tool. The tool is not doing this. That's not the point. We want the work done. It's meant to just help you do it. And so I often love to give teams a tremendous amount of options and techniques and encourage them that, in an empowered environment, I want to tell you why we're doing things and what problems we have. And I want you to feel safe enough to try as many things as you can to solve the problem. And we don't get better unless you can innovate on my process. You're actually welcome to do that. If that's what you want to do, because you don't see it working. It's less of, the process is not the outcome we want. It's just to enable us get consistent results out of the work that we do. And so I think it's, as long as that's clear to teams, then you can build a culture with process. If it's not, I rather you just go crazy. Just, because I rather deal with trying to structure success than me being a barrier to success, like everybody following a process, but nothing good comes out of it in some ways, or best practice or standard. There are proven practices, there are techniques that work well. I want you to know all of them because you may find that one works better for one reason and another. So it's really about empowering your teams.